run my fingers through your hair, but I'm leaving tomorrow. My aorta's getting overstretched. I'll leave my heart and pack up all the rest. This gaping hole up in my chest just might close up forever. What can I even offer you but astral projection and a letter or two? I almost start to feel like I'm a deadbeat dad to the children that we never had, like I'm always doing something bad. If I don't stay here and love you, if I could, I'd pack your town upon my back. I wouldn't have to keep on holding back. Keep your calculated plans intact. You're too heavy to carry. If I never left and if she hadn't stayed, they might have never made those plans they laid. Bend out the hand that leaves one card unplayed, and they're living together. You could blame it on my gypsy blood, but that's a little bit too Hollywood. I swear I'd settle if I could, but I'm nowhere. My home is the roamers want to settle down, to settle want to roam around. In your eyes I see a soul I want to touch, and my dreams about you make me blush. Every contact gives me such a rush. Does that mean I'm perverted? Maybe if I try I can grow out of sex. Let love and loneliness lay down to rest. As it stands, my chances aren't the best to stay happy forever. So I wrote that song in 2015 when I was traveling in my 1991 Toyota pickup truck from Bellingham, Washington, all the way down the west coast and across the desert of the southwest all the way to New Orleans. And I had a lot of stress about that trip, partly because the truck was kind of dying and having a lot of problems, and I was thinking, what if I break down in the middle of the nowhere in the desert and I can't get help? Or what if I get assaulted somewhere when I'm sleeping in my truck? Or I also had all these emotional concerns because my boyfriend at the time, who I was in a polyamorous relationship that I didn't really want to be in that way, was just about to leave on a duo musical tour with this woman he was interested in, and he and I were living together at the time, and he had neglected to tell me that he was going on this trip with her at all, anything about it. And I only found out when I heard other people talking about it, like, oh yeah, so-and-so is going on a trip with them. And We even had just recently had this big emotional talk where he was telling me he doesn't like traveling with me. So it was just like extra stress to know that, okay, this person, I guess he does like traveling with. He's gonna go with them, and he didn't even tell me, and they're about to leave now. I just found out right before they go. And also, I had just found out that this guy who was really sweet to me and I kind of had feelings for, but never really pursued because I had so much else going on, had just fallen in love and was moving in with this other woman who was like kind of my competition for the past few years. Not like I had any ill will towards her or anything, but we just had a lot of the same life goals, very close to each other, and were attracted to the same people. And it always kind of seemed like her life and everything she wanted would work out much more smoothly for her than it ever did for me. There's so many noises outside today. And so all of this was on my mind while I was leaving Bellingham, and I went and picked up this Craigslist writer in Seattle who was going to California, and he was nice but also kind of cocky 18-year-old kid, just like setting out on his own for the first time, and he had a lot of ideals to tell me about how life works. And we had a lot of truck issues, and we stayed over the night somewhere in Oregon, and then finally the next evening I dropped him off in Davis, California, just as my truck was stopping working, and I took it to the dealership. There's a Toyota dealership like right there, so I was like, that's perfect. But then, you know how dealerships are, they charge you so much money and don't actually do anything. They're like charging you to look at what they might look at when they really start doing work. So nothing got fixed, and I managed to get the truck all the way out to Santa Rosa, California, where my friends had a farm, and it was harvest season, and there was work that I could get. So I went and worked on their farm for a while I got part of my truck repaired in Santa Rosa, and like made some money to cover some of these car costs. And then I went further on down to Los Angeles, where I'd had a really great platonic visit with a friend the previous year and done a lot of art and had a really great time. And this time when I showed up, I kind of wasn't expecting this. There were so many things else going on in my mind, but my friend seemed to really want a lot more from me romantically, and I just was not in the headspace for that. And the last time I'd come, he'd had his own bed for me that I could stay in separately and everything, and this time he just had less going on, and it was like, okay, well, we'll be sharing a bed, it's fine. And I mean, it's just like, my truck is breaking down, I don't know where I'm going to get stranded, I'm trying to get from place to place, I have so many things I'm thinking about. I'm not going to like be tripping about like, oh, we probably shouldn't share a bed because that'll give you the wrong idea, and you know, it's just like, I'm just going to make sure I don't like move too close to him and give the implication that I'm inviting sexuality, and just like lied awake in bed the last night I was there, trying to formulate the right words to explain what I wanted and what was going on with me. And in that I never actually said it out loud to him, but that night I formulated the first two verses of this song. So that's where that came from. And got, you know, about $1,000 worth of car repairs in Los Angeles, then headed out to the Inland Empire of Southern California to play some gigs with my good friends. And I was just reflecting for this whole trip about all the potential loves that I never pursued because I was always on the move, and there was always something else going on that was monopolizing my focus. And so this was definitely a time where I kept leaving different friends and going from place to place, and it would hurt every time I left my friends, but I had somewhere to be. And for some reason, one of the days I was out in Inland Empire visiting the friends, I was left alone in my friend's house all day. I don't remember what they're doing, but there was a piano there, and so I decided to start writing a melody for this new song I had come up with in LA the other day. And because it's a piano, and I don't usually write my songs on piano, it has kind of a different quality to the melody than a lot of my other songs, because it's a piano song, and it's just the melody and feel of songs is really different depending on what instrument I write it on. And I remember being in the shower at my friend's place and coming up with the line about the deadbeat dad. It's like when you have a good song coming on, you just keep thinking about it everywhere you are, and you get little parts of it throughout your day. And so there are definitely a few people that are really who I had in mind when I was writing these verses, but some of it is artistically licensed, switched around and mashed up, and it's really a mashup of a few different histories with different people, and also just the common love life patterns of my life in a way. So it's not really about one person, but there's definitely a few people I could list names of that inspired the particular poetry that came out. And I had many other Craigslist writers throughout that long journey, and a lot of people who I would meet on my way who weren't usually traveling or almost never traveled, and they say, wow, your life sounds so wonderful, I wish I could travel all the time. And I was just thinking about all the hardships and stresses and grief I was having, and how it's kind of a grass is always greener kind of situation. And all the time while I was writing this song and getting more and more words for it, I just felt like it was way too cheesy. But my friend was like, no, just keep writing that. Songs often feel that way. And it ended up being one of people's favorite songs of mine. So I guess if you have a cheesy song, keep going with it, because it's got some real feelings in there. Okay, happy forever.